Hollywood was once hailed as a throne of light, where red carpets and applause turned actors into living legends. But behind that glittering velvet curtain lies an abyss. Some willingly sold their souls to darkness for power. Some were bound by the mafia and made into puppets in filthy money-laundering schemes. And some stars paid with their lives, taking to the grave political secrets America has never dared to reveal. This isn't a burnished anecdote, but a chilling truth stamped into FBI secret files, erupting in sensational trials, and splashed across the front pages of major newspapers. And now, we enter the story, 10 Hollywood stars who secretly became obedient henchmen for underworld kingpins. 1. Marilyn Monroe. The Kennedys loved all, exploited by the mafia. A mysterious death in a silencing plot. On a summer night in July 1962 at director George Cukor's lavish Beverly Hills estate, a party buzzed with hundreds of Hollywood's most powerful guests. Crystal chandeliers scattered light, a live jazz band swayed, champagne flowed nonstop. But the real stir wasn't the glamorous star parade. It was the moment Marilyn Monroe stood beside Sam Giancana, the infamous boss of the Chicago outfit. Giancana wasn't an actor or producer. He was a man the FBI once ranked among the 10 most dangerous in America. Investigative reporter Jack Anderson of the Washington Post recalled Giancana bragging in the underworld through Marilyn, "I know the secrets behind the White House doors." To others, it might have sounded like a joke, but in Giancana's hands, Monroe was a card to mine information. By then, Monroe was exhausted, caught in a tangled triangle with President John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy. Her close friend actress Jean Carmen later admitted on CBS that Marilyn often lamented, "I'm just a decorative object in this world of power." That vulnerability made her an ideal target for mafia manipulation. Documents published by journalist Anthony Summers in Goddess: The Secret Lives of Marilyn Monroe. 1985 revealed that Giancana ordered his men to monitor Monroe's every move at her Brentwood home. Neighbors told NBC that on the night of August 4, 1962, several sleek black Cadillacs pulled up at Monroe's door near midnight. Strange men went in and out tense. Hours later, Monroe was found unconscious, clutching a bottle of sedatives. Mainstream outlets rushed to conclude a self-inflicted end, but independent investigators flagged a string of anomalies from a delayed emergency call to conflicting accounts from her private physician. Another chilling mystery. Monroe's red notebook meticulously listing calls with the Kennedys and anonymous threats vanished without a trace. A former LAPD officer later told ABC that powerful hands intervened that night. All sensitive evidence was cleared before the official file was opened. Rumors in the press also swirled that the mafia wanted to shut Marilyn up because she knew too much about ties between the Kennedy administration and the underworld. Criminologist Ralph Salerno, who had worked with the FBI, asserted on 60 Minutes Monroe's death wasn't just an accident. It bears the marks of a clean sweep operation. Her murky end didn't just close the life of Hollywood's ultimate sex symbol, it stunned America had the mafia reached into the White House itself. The shock only deepened when the next name in Files and Whispers turned out to be one of the era's most powerful singers, Frank Sinatra. 2. Frank Sinatra, the golden voice who traded for glory by opening Vegas to the mafia. In the 1950s, Las Vegas exploded into America's entertainment mecca. Neon-blazed nightly casinos ran 24/7, luxury nightclubs overflowed. On stage at the Sands, Frank Sinatra's sharp suit, rakish stance, a voice that stilled the room, was the exalted emblem. But behind the lights, strings were pulled by the Chicago outfit. A 1981 declassified FBI file asserted that Sinatra wasn't merely a singer. He was the doorman ushering Sam Giancana and Lucky Luciano into the elite. In backstage soirees, he arranged secret meetings between mafia figures and politicians, turning what should have been music into calculated negotiations. Journalist Kitty Kelly wrote in his way that at a 1960 Palm Springs dinner, Sinatra personally seated Giancana across from President Kennedy. One meal and the FBI lost sleep for months, fearing the mob had slipped into Washington's core. At first, Sinatra sought the mafia not from greed, but pressure. As a New Jersey lounge act, he was threatened and squeezed by local gangs. Co-star Joey Bishop told the New York Post Sinatra confessed, "Without their backing, I'd never have made the big stage. But fame flipped the script. Sinatra went from coerced to complicit, becoming the bridge that legitimized massive mob cash washing through casinos, clubs, and even international tours." A bombshell arrived in April 1963, when Life ran a photo of Sinatra warmly shaking Sam Giancana's hand at Cal Neva Lodge, the luxe resort straddling California and Nevada that the mob allegedly turned into a money transfer station. America reeled the nation's crooner, the man who sang My Way side by side with the FBI's Most Wanted. Investigators hinted that some Sinatra tours were mere covers for moving cash hiding under the glow of art. Scandal piled on. In 1967, the FBI logged a string of calls between Sinatra and Giancana, including profit-splitting talks tied to Nevada casinos. The Los Angeles Times reported the Bureau even weighed subpoenaing Sinatra in a money laundering case only for the file to be mysteriously shut. Though Sinatra never sat in the defendant's chair, the mafia's shadow stalked him to the end. In closed congressional hearings of the late 1970s, his name surfaced repeatedly in surveillance files linked to dangerous underworld figures. The America's sweetheart image now walked beside notorious kingpins, fueling relentless public suspicion. The question grew louder in the famed Rat Pack: was Sinatra the only one tangled in mob webs, or were others also neck-deep? As the press dug, all eyes turned to Dean Martin, the legendary king of cool who had stood on the very stages of mob-controlled casinos. 3. Dean Martin. From penniless dealer to Rat Pack. Star under the mafia's shadow. Few knew that before becoming the king of cool who entranced millions, Dean Martin, born Dino Cricchetti, was just a lowly dealer in the smoke-choked Jungle Inn, a notorious casino in Steubenville, Ohio. The Cleveland Press dubbed it a no-go zone for police, with mafia lurking at every corner. In 1940, the young dealer sat at the table spreading cards while softly singing. His warm baritone made gamblers forget their emptied wallets. A veteran named Joe Izar told the Cleveland News, "He made us lose and smile. Even broke, we stayed to hear Dino sing more." That uncanny pull caught the eye of Johnny Roselli, the power broker the FBI called the boss behind Hollywood. Roselli saw more than a voice. He saw a key to usher the mob deeper into show business. From 1946, he paved Martin's path, arranging a meeting with Jerry Lewis in Atlantic City, then elevating the duo to Vegas's biggest stages. Martin and Lewis became a phenomenon, raking in hundreds of thousands per night. But behind neon came a steep price. Martin had to perform at outfit-controlled venues with nearly half the take flowing straight into the family. By 1959, the FBI detailed multiple Martin appearances at Roselli's Beverly Hills mansion. Those parties were extravagant A-list stars, champagne like rivers, yet seated at the same table were Tony Accardo, Bugsy Siegel, even politicos flown in from Chicago. A secret recording captured Roselli calling Martin kid brother, proof he'd been pulled into the underworld's embrace. Martin wasn't combative, he compromised. In Variety, he once